So we will talk about that more later on. So for the table of content, the first one, we will discuss about what, why, and the nature of research. The second is research methodology versus research method versus research methods and versus research design. And then the third one is what, why, and how to validate the research and how to be critical in research and why. So in this discussion, I will try to use not so many scientific terms so we can understand even because my target is for the students and for the master, maybe for the PhD and the undergrad students. And as a researcher, we should know that what kind of research methodologies that we choose for the research. And for the definition of research, I think all of us really understanding well about the concept of the research. But for the overview, for the briefly explanation, is research is the conceptualized conversation, or if you cannot say this is conversation because the conversation is too basic, we can use either in daily life or in a research. You can say a research is a rigorous inquiries, so a deep meaning making of knowledge that links between the past, the future, and the present to generate the knowledge. So there is combination between the past. Maybe you can do a research about the past only, or either between about the present, about the current times, or about the future, or maybe between you can collaborate two of them or three of them into one of research to generate the knowledge. So there is possibilities of the different times why you're doing or the concept of the research is to at least rigorous inquiries. You have to engage more in deep thinking, in deep thoughts about your own problems and to generate the knowledge. And for this is example how we can identify, at least as a researcher, we have to identify in very easiest way between what is research-based writing and what kind of non-research look like. For the left side, this is the research-based. Research-based is compiled of the what I say early. It's about the rigorous inquiries. Because it is rigorous inquiries, it involves many concepts, many terminologies, perspectives, paradigms, and argumentation and everything. So that is why I think there's a lot of conversation here and citations, arguments, opinions. While for the non-research, it is like a singular communication. It's not a dual communication, rather it's a singular communication. For example, that is why I'm writing this post. So it means that the writer convey their own arguments into the writing. So that's non-research. So there is no scientific methods in this writing. Well, for the research base, they have components of writing, the scientific academic writings, for example, which methodology. So this is the tone of scientific words. And then providing evidence. This is also part of scientific writing style. And then like computational model. So you can see that a big difference between research-based writing and the non-research writing from the far away. If you want to identify what kind of research resources that you want to read or to write. And there are a lot of purposes or goals why you need to do a research, like advancing, clarifying the knowledge, justifying the knowledge, exploring, describing, predicting, testing. It's like many items, but you don't have to remember all of these things. But what you need is to understand at least this research is to solve the problem, to produce a new or creative outcomes, and to generate the new concepts, methodologies, understanding as the building block or as the baseline, as the principle to the fundamental of knowledge in order to advancing, clarifying, and so forth to the knowledge and theory developments. And then there is there are three key points. You don't have to remember all of these things, but the key points is the clarification, justification, and falsification. The first one is clarification. The clarification is to clarify the concepts by refining definition, theories, conceptual framework. For instance, in one group of circle friends, maybe some of you or one of them spreading the gossips to another people. Let's say if is there any Ming and Ing here? Dr. Nun?
Okay.
Ming and Ing are they here?
Ming, Ming in here, Zoom.
Okay, let's say Dr. Noon. Dr. Noon, we are in the same group of friends, and then I claim that maybe Dr. Noon say that I'm farted. I always farted in the class. You know, farted, like produce a gas. I'm farted. Yeah. But let me how do I say it? Let's say it. So you can translate it. Yeah, you can translate it. Yeah, maybe I'm the one who farted in the class, and then I need to clarify to you why you say me I'm farted in the class. So you need to clarify what kind of gossip that's spreading in the class to me. So to clarify the concepts, definition, theories, and or conceptual. Well, for justification and falsification, it looks very similar, but it's totally different between justification and falsification. Justification is, for example, in Thailand or in Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, we have our own football players, right? We have a football competition. And then, for example, if we have football competition, they have their own supporter. So if they have their own supporter, maybe you can ask to the supporter, why you support Thailand to watch the competition? Or maybe they will say that, oh, the supporter the Thai players very tall, so they can play easy to move the ball, or maybe they are very fast, very agile, very fast to play the balls. So that's why I believe that Thai groups will win the competition. So justification, why you support the theory, why you support the hypothesis, the conceptual and everything, the intervention and maybe anything. And while for falsification is you want to confront to other groups or to the different group to revoke them, to refute by evidence, by reasons, by argumentations, by the data. For example, uh, we have two groups of the players of the football teams. For example, we have Thailand teams, we have Indonesia teams, and let's say that they have competition. So for from the Thai people side, maybe they believe that their own team will win the competition. Well, and also the same happened to the Indonesian competition. They want to support their own team. They believe that the Indonesian team will win the competition. And then in the different groups, they want to, let's say, blame the other groups, not believe to other groups. Why their own groups will win the competition, well, the other groups will lose the competition. So that's falsified. You believe that you are in the right side, and the different group is the wrong side, or the someone who will lose the competition. So that's why refuted by the evidence. Of course, you will have, or you have to make sure you have the data, argumentation, reasons or evidence. So these only three components. This is not hierarchy. There is no level of this, but this is the components of key points of research. What kind of research that you want to do in the future or in the current times. And then this is the nature of research. The nature of research at least consists of problem formulation, methodology, data collection, data analysis, a scientific procedure. So all of this component, we call it scientific procedure. Even though they not mentioned directly into the paper, they can mention in some part of article. This is, for example, I took it from one of the Dr. Noon article, which is very long title, but this regardless of the title, the problem of formulation, maybe they can mention on the abstract. Let's say COVID-19 disrupted by educational globally, resulting in the closure of schools, university, and transition to distance of learning. So this is the problem formulation. Well, the methodology is what kind of methods that they use for the research. For example, they use cross-sectional survey methods, and for data collection, they're using the self-reported survey, questionnaire, maybe they have instruments and everything. So what kind of data instruments that they use? And also data analysis, like ordinal logistic regression analysis. I don't understand, but at least this is the data analysis. Yeah, at least in scientific, in research, they have like a scientific methods which consists of problem formulation, methodology, collection, and data analysis. Maybe some article not mentioned directly about these components because it depends on the journal format. And then in conclusion, the research is based on why. So justification, justify all of the sentences, all of the arguments, all of the words that you mention into your writing. So there is always a why in a research, why phenomena occur, why patterns emerge, why knowledge must be tested and extended. So there is always a why in your writing, even though you don't have mentioned explicitly, but at least you mention implicitly into your writings what kind of phenomena, why the problem is if arising into your writing, why this pattern emerge or evidence, why the knowledge must be solved or must be tested, must be expanded, must be created, and everything. And for the part B is about research methodology, research methods, and research design. And we can see that from one article, they mentioned that around 82% of the students reported difficulties in selecting appropriate data analysis methods, and 70% of them struggle with a research design, and 45% indicated that they didn't feel competent in data analysis and methodology. So that's why I think we need to know to differentiate between the research method, the research methods, and research methodology and research design. This is your own thesis. And this is, you can imagine, this is your advisor. Your advisor is the one to look at point of view, what are you doing now? And then you have to know what kind of particular of part of this. So students often found research methodology is complicated and challenging, especially when learning online. In this, like this one, when I talking about the research methodology in online, maybe some of you will not understand what I'm talking about. This is normal because this is based on the research in 2025. Yeah, if we let's say if the lecturer have the course about the coursework about the research methodology, and in online, maybe some of them will not understand, but that step is pretty normal for them because this is the process how to understand the research. And this is the research flow. Starting point is the paradigm. This is the starting point. The paradigm, the methodology, the approaches, the model, the design, the methods, and the techniques. The paradigm is the baseline of your research. So you can imagine if you construct the building, you have the building blocks, the principle of the buildings. So like everything, this is the paradigm of your own research, is to determine the fundamental assumption about the reality and how knowledge is acquired. And this is the methodology, provide the logics and rationale for selecting methods and approach and model, design methods and techniques. But again, you don't have to remember all of these things. You don't have to mention directly into your publication, your thesis, your dissertation, but at least you need to understand between methodology and methods or design. So the red color, you have to understand at least those red color. And then it will continue to the result and findings, to the interpretation, and to discussion. And then maybe Dr. Noon know, some of you know this one. This is a Tom Yam Goong.
ยำกุ้
I
ง
like Tom Yam. So you can imagine that Tom Yam Goong is the final product of your research, which consists of conclusion, recommendation, and limitation. Before we cook the Tom Yam Goong, we have ingredients like ginger, turmeric, prawns, meat, red chili, tomatoes, and everything, which is as considered as synthesis, analysis, and initial evaluation. In initial evaluation, you can put some pros and cons. Why you support this theory? Why you confront the other theories based on your findings? And what kind of strengths, maybe, and weakness, opportunities, threats, facts, opinions, or constraints. You don't have to mention all of this, but you need at least some of them as your initial evaluation. And then you can moving forward to analysis, interbetween of relationship between the other findings to your findings, and then the synthesis. It will produce a new ideas, a new insights, what you want to achieve. So that's called synthesis. And then this is a difference between methodologies and the methods. The methodologies is the philosophical underpinnings of your research. What you need to justify for the research approach. It addresses on how inquirer can go about the finding, whatever the belief can be known, which means that why is this the best way to study these problems? And then what kind of knowledge will this approach generate? This is the what kind of tools that you will use for your research. It will continue by the methods. The method is the procedure, the steps, and the stage, instruction, and everything. For example, this is the real example. For example, if you have eyes and you want to see the views like in the building, if you have the myopia or hyperopia like me, myopia, you will have the spectacle, the glasses. This is the methods, the instruction, the instruments to see the views. Well, for the methodology is the reason why you need this spectacle, because you need this spectacle or the glasses if you want to see the views outside of the building, for example. So this is a difference between methodologies and the methods in a very simple way. And for the methods is how will I collect the data and how will I or you analyze the data. And then by combination between methodologies and the methods, it will need a justification again. So why you choose the particular type of methodologies, maybe the methods, maybe. So how do I know my findings are credible or trustworthy? And how can I demonstrate the rigor and the quality of the process? So you need to justify each one of the methodologies, each one of the method, why you choose that part. And then so the C point is what, why, and how to validate the process. The concept of validation is to building the persuasive and credible argument. At least your study is well-grounded, dependable, and not merely a product of the research biases. So if you want to create some kind of products, you need to make sure your product is dependable, is useful to the society, and then a well-grounded based on the scientific methods. It's not about the personal whims or flow procedure. It's not going to be fail into the society. Even though it's fail based on scientific. It's not fail based on the accidents. And then, in the simple terms, the validation will confirm that your research is trustworthy at the point of completion. At the end of your research, you will believe that your research will benefitful, meaningful, impactful, and dependable based on your data. And then why you need to do the validation is to building the trustworthy, valuable, and undeniability that can advance the knowledge, facilitate the theory development, and inform the practice, which means you need your research will be in scientifically approved. So there is a stamp, your research is approved by the data, by the trustworthy, valuable, and undeniability to advance the knowledge. And then how to validate the research? Is it based on your Google? Maybe no. You have some steps if you want to do validation in terms of the methods. But at the end of the validation, you need to thinking because the thinking is probably the hardest work there is, which is probably why so few engage in it. So as a researcher, you need to thinking in deeply about your own research, and then you have to confuse at the first step of your research. You have to don't believe that your own research is it going to be benefitful, is it going to be trustworthy about your research or no. So before someone asking your research, you have to asking your own research based on your on argument. So that's why thinking is very the first step of research or validation. And then this is the philosophical underpinnings of research. Starting point is ontology, epistemology, axiology, dosology, and methodology. And then moving forward to the findings. This is the guideline of the question. Starting is the start point is ontology. Maybe I think most of you already know that this philosophical underpinnings of the research from ontology, epistemology, axiology, and then some of researcher add more, which is doxology and methodology. The ontology is the what the key word is the what. What is real? What kind of knowledge you want to achieve? For example, I put example, do adverse childhood experiences exist as measurable events affecting children's development? Or the epistemology, how do you solve the problems? How do we know this kind of research or problems? And methodology, how do you study these problems? By what kind of approaches, by what kind of methods or methodologies to solve these problems? And axiology, is what is the meaning making, the impact of your research? Is it going to be valuable? Like what is your recommendation, your conclusion, your implications, your limitation of your research? And the last one, doxology. But mostly for doxology, I think it's pretty common for the religious research like norms, values, ethics. So what ultimate purpose does this serve? So meaning making of your research. Yeah, this is the example. Do you know this one? This is say block. This is quite very viral in Thailand now. I'm not sure why.
ซุกี้
Sorry.
ซุกี้เมนู
Yeah, this is say block. This is say block. This is from TikTok. Yeah, from wait. From the ontology, you have to identify what kind of food is this. So if you already identify this is a block, you will see the epistemology. How do you know this is a block? Maybe from the ingredients, maybe from the TikTok, maybe from the commercial, maybe from the social media or other platforms. And then the methodology. How do you know this is a block? Maybe from the kitchen, from the medium, from the ingredients and everything. And then axiology, is it going to be benefitful if you eat say block or no? So you have to asking, is it going to be valuable to your own research? and maybe doxology, but this is a different problem, different ways to do a doxology, which is pretty common in the religious research. It's not all of the research you need to mention the doxology, but at least you will have the ontology, epistemology, methodology, and axiology. And this is the keywords, the verbs to do paradigms, goal, criteria, and justification. Positivisms, interpretivisms, and pragmatisms. But I think this is very hard to understand if we want to study now. But I believe that I think majority of you already took the course about this part of paradigm of research. But if you want to choose the post-positivisms, you need to make sure your validation based on objectivity, reliability, internal validity, external validity, construct validity, and replicability. But again, you don't have to mention all of the criteria of your research based on your research paradigm, but at least you need to explain what kind of validation you choose and then why you choose that kind of criteria to validate your research based on justification. So each one of the paradigm, they have their own justification, they have their own criteria and the goals, but at least you need to synthesize, analyze to that kind of justification. So, but the other questions is coming. So what happens if the previous validation is no longer enough? You need really validation. For example, if you're doing research, for example, like this one. Yeah, like this one. For example, maybe let's say Dr. Noon using the instrument about the PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Maybe Dr. Noon developed their own instruments. So they want to validate the instruments. So they don't have to revalidate the instrument again because they already. But in different cases, let's say Dr. Noon bring some other instrument from a different people, from a different author, or from a different journal, which will be implemented in a different group. So maybe Dr. Noon will need a different validation, even though the previous researcher already validate the instrument. So you need to revalidate because it will be implemented in a different group target participants or different kind of methodology or different kind of intervention. So you need to revalidate based on the participants, environments, the people, the researchers, and the condition. So you need to make sure that your research is validated. By doing the revalidation again, if you argue about the validation. And then this is the last point. How to be critical in research and why. This is the formula. The first step is asking why you do a research, identifying the problems, identifying the solution, identifying the current theories based on the literature reviews and empirical data and everything, and reflect them by the examine the mechanisms, reflection by your own problems, and then justify why you need to the problem needs to be solved, because some of other problems do not need to be solved. So you need to justify why you need to solve the problem, why you need to create the module, why you need to create the intervention, why you need to do a research, and then revisit why again, integrate the insight, start turning back point to the asking why. And so asking why, reflection, justification, and revisit why again to make sure that your research is a real research problems or a real research formulation, because not all of the problems need to be solved, right? So you have to make sure based on the scientific methods. And then, as I can say at the beginning, from the beginning, we will have some quizzes. Okay, let me check.
Okay.
We will have some,
Thank
yeah, a
you
quiz.
so much, Dr. Ryan. After the presentation, we will have a Q&A section. For a Q&A section, everyone can write question in the chat box or raise hand, then turn on the microphone and camera by yourself. You quiz game.
Yeah, the game. We
Okay.
will have a games. Okay. 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 Maybe, yeah, all of you can participate. Is it all? Okay.
There are currently 5 persons.
Yeah, 5%.
Oil, oh, oil, beer,
For
M, Dan. Just a minute.
is it all? Okay, we have 7 now.
7 participation.
Okay, I think we can start now. Start now. The research method. The literal meaning of research is read and search. Oh, sorry. I put an Indonesian translation. The blue color is right. The red color is wrong.
True or false?
Yes. The blue is
Or
right and the red is wrong. So the literal meaning of research and read and search. Yeah, the correct answer is wrong. So there is no literal meaning of research between read and search. So it's wrong. And then, so there is no one, there is no one answer the
not
correct.
score.
Yes.
10.
So research is defined as systematic inquiry that aims to discover new things and create new facts of knowledge. So is it right or is it true or false? The blue color is true and red color is false. Yeah, it's true. I research. Okay. Dandy. Okay, Dandy, you will. Okay, let's continue. Academic research must start with a previously formulated theory or hypothesis. So is it true or false? If you're doing a research, you need to formulate theory first, or you need to create your own hypothesis first.
Loading.
It's still loading. it's false. The correct answer is false. About so you don't have to formulate. You don't have to formulate the theory before start the research. So you don't have to. At least you need a problems or research problems. So let's see who lead the board. Oh, Dr. No. Okay. And then, yeah, all research design must follow a linear process without the possibility of revision once data collection. So all research designed, they have a very rigid framework to begin with the research, one data collection start. So it's wrong. Yeah, there is no rigid ways for all of the research. Let's say if you're doing at a qualitative, if you're doing quantitative, if you're doing mixed method, all of the research design, you don't have to follow the linear process. Once you already have your own data collection, maybe there is some change of data collections if you're going through by the on your own fieldwork or and on fire. Okay. So the major purpose of mixed method is to increase the complexity of the philosophical assumption. Yes, wrong. The concept there is no purpose of to make it more complex because we don't want to our research more complex, right? This is not the purpose of the research mixed method perspective. So there is no purpose of complexity in terms of research methodology from the mixed method research. Okay, M. Okay, we have 6 more. Qualitative interviews must always be tightly structured with the predetermined question. Remember, that's qualitative interviews. Yeah, it's right. So we cannot determine, maybe we can determine the research question, and then as time goes by, if you're doing a research, you can change your own instruments based on what you already observe from the fieldwork. So there is a possibility to change the question while you're going through the fieldwork from the qualitative paradigm. Oh, Dr. Bass. And then, yeah, in qualitative studies, yeah, this is the similar question. I just make up the question from the previous question. In qualitative studies, the research question must remain fixed throughout the entire study to ensure reliability. Yeah, the correct answer is wrong. So there is no rigid process in terms of qualitative. Let's say if you already have research formulation into the research methodology from the qualitative, maybe if you will see a new data coming from the fieldwork, you can change your own questionnaire, your own problem formulation, if the research will be on qualitative studies. Okay, who lead the board? Oh, database. Okay. So the question is, the philosophical underpinnings of methodology often influences a researcher's choices of methods.
สูตรมี on file ค่ะแม่
Yeah, it's right. because the philosophical underpinning is the principle of your research, which will be influence someone's perspective to solve the problem. So you need to understand the philosophical underpinnings of research before start the research. Okay. 555. Okay, triangulation involves using multiple research methods or data types to confirm or enhance findings. Okay, all of you are correct. Yes, triangulation is the different ways of validation to validate the instruments. And yeah, Dr. Bas on fire. When writing a qualitative purpose statement, the focus should be on relating two or more variables. Remember, the keyword is the qualitative and the variables. Yeah, there is no terminology of variables in qualitative. So it is very impossible you will focus on relating to variables because there is no variables in the qualitative research. While for the quantitative, you will have the variables. Yep. Okay. In quantitative studies, the researcher is the main instrument for data collection. Is it true or false? Yeah, for the main instrument for the research based on the quantitative is the instrument, not the researcher, because the researcher is the support for the instrument. While for the qualitative, the main instrument is the researcher, while the researcher, because the one who collects the data is the researcher. While for the quantitative, we can ask for help to share the instrument, to share the instrument to your friends, to your peers, to your colleagues, to share the instrument to other people, to the participants or the informants or the sample or the population for data collection. So there is no terminology of the main instrument for data collections in terms of the quantitative studies. And then this is the last question. Let's see who lead the board. Dr. Bas. Okay. Maybe I will give the gift to Dr. Bas.
Dr. Bas, give.
Yeah. I already give a hint the answer for this question. Yeah. Who is the winner? Yes, this instrument again is for data collection, is the researcher for the qualitative. So let me repeat it again. Maybe some of you still not understand that still confused. The researcher is the main instrument for data collection for the qualitative studies. Well, for the quantitative study, the main instrument is the instrument itself, so not researcher. Why? Because the qualitative, you need to present the environment to view or to collect the data, while for the quantitative, you have the instrument that you can share to other people without directly involved in the fieldwork. So that's the keyword. So who lead the board? Should I give my gift to Dr. Bas?
You can pass on my reward to the next one.
Oh yeah, sure.
To be fair, because I saw your slide previously.
Oh yeah. No worries. Who is the second? Ha ha ha.
Where's 555?
นี่
Yeah,
Dr. ต่ออาจารย์ต่อ
Dr. Thor. Okay, I will give both of you this one. That's still on shipping, so probably I will give you next week. Please remind me.
It's okay. Thank you very much.
Okay,
But by the way,
this one. Can you
Dr.
see?
ต่อ you look so
can you see?
cloudy Dr. ต่อ as if you were in a fridge.
I think because my lens, my camera on
Uh,
my mobile phone. Sorry.
like this one. Can you see? It's blurred. Can you see? This is the picture. That's the
Okay.
gift that we'll give to you next week. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dr. Ryan. We have a Q&A section. Anyone can write question in the chat box or raise hand, then turn on the microphone and camera by yourself.
I have not the question Dr. Nun. Not the question, but just a comment. For many of us, probably not familiar with the qualitative research or methodology, but for me as a doctor who is doing regularly interview with my patients, it's one way of data collection, qualitative data collection. Probably when we were taught as a medical student, when we were in a medical school, we have kind of like the guidance questions list in our hand. So, like we do not have like specific question, like solid question. It's more or less like to define how long have you get these symptoms, how it's going, what's the severity or something like that. There's no solid question, but it's more or less like 10 guidances. For example, it is not like a quantitative research where you have like a solid questionnaire or valid or verified or standardized questionnaire to date for the data collections. So that's a big difference. And the methodology of the qualitative research, I would say when you interview, let's say like when I interview my patient, my list of questions probably not working. Maybe I have to just leave them behind, and then because I have to go with the flow, with the upcoming new data, then the question probably it will be, they might have been like evolving regarding with the answer I got from my patients. In a general term is that the qualitative data collection will be changing over the time, over the new data you gather during the research, the data collection. And that is why the investigator themselves are the research tools for the qualitative method as well. So which is totally different from the quantitative, where you can send it to somewhere in the north, in the south, or in other countries to help you out to fill out the form to do the data collection. But more or less still you have to standardize how to use that form or data collection. Yeah, so that's a big difference. But also the mixed method research, either explanatory research or exploratory research, that also gives you a very, very full or more comprehensive insight. It could be like explain or explore, yeah, which is very, very powerful methodology for your research. Yeah, just like to share. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Bas, for the explanation. Yeah, add more the input information about the qualitative, the quantitative, qualitative, and the mixed method. But yes, the open-ended question, it is based on the what you say that revolution based on the participants. So you can make it alignment to your own participants. This is what we call it open-ended question. So open-ended question in the qualitative is there is no rigid items of the questions, but rather it involves of the the guidelines, what you need to ask to the participants or the informants for the qualitative research. So we call it as the open-ended. There is no research format of the items, but it involves of the guideline, what you need to ask. But yes, you can reformulate, you can change based on the what coming from your own informants. So maybe it will involve or change based on the environment itself. Any question coming from the participants? But thank you, Dr. Bas. Hello, Dr. Nun, are you there?
Yes.
Is there any question? But I can see two names. My colleagues back in Brunei, both of them from Malaysia and Vietnam. Amira, she is a PhD student from Malaysia, and then Duk Wafu is my friend in Brunei, but is Vietnamese. Yeah, say hi to them.
You got lots of support, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you.
That's nice.
Amira not here. Oh,
Yeah, maybe they're busy. Yeah,
Amira, can you
assign. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would like to a little bit more. Made a comment a little bit more. I think it's in most of the academic institution or research institution in Thailand. I cannot say for other places. I think most of them usually like rely on one side. It's like they are an expert. They are expert in like either quantitative or either qualitative separately. It is very rare to have like both of them running the mixed method. Like because some data, like let's say at my department at the hospital, they are running the National Health Survey every 5 years. So they are very, very eager. The lecturer, the staff who is running this project is very eager on the quantitative method. But in another way, the qualitative method is kind of like ignored, totally ignored, and no one's like, they are, but it's understandable because they got the funding to run the National Health Survey, not the mixed method or like explanatory or exploratory or something else. So that's what I found. And then in another way is that some social study academic institution, they are kind of like expert on the qualitative methodology. So they're also running all those qualitative research without the quantitative research. So that is why I said like, yeah, if you can mix these together, both from qualitative and quantitative, that research would have been like very, very powerful and can drive something. And, you understand more and you can explain more, and then you can, how to say, like visualize them more in either way, right? Yeah.
Hi, Ryan.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, Chidarat.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I have no question
Hello.
either. But I just would like to say thank you for sharing your insight on the research design and research methodology. I appreciate the way you explain the topic and you make the presentation very engaging. So just thank you, saying thank you and appreciate it. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Dr.
Yeah.
Chadarat.
Yeah.
Thank you. ขอบคุณนะครับ
Ryan Amara chat. Yeah. Hi, I'm Amara, PhD student in computer science from university. Is the good sharing?
Yeah. Thank you, Amira.
Okay. uh, we invite everyone to turn on their camera and take a photo together.
Okay, sure. And don't forget Dr. Thor and Dr. Bas. Can you remind me for next week? I will give you two gifts. No worries.
Okay.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, capture. Okay, thank you. Next time, join us for the topic, growing through imagination and bright future ready learner on 27 October at 10 a.m. Today, thank you for all participation.
Okay, thank you everyone.
ขอบคุณค่ะ
บ๊ายบายขอบคุณครับ
ขอบคุณครับ
Have a nice trip
Bye bye.
for เชียงใหม่นะไลอ้อน
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you ค่ะไลอ้อน Bye
Thank you, Dr. Shadara. Thank you. Bye bye. I will leave the room.